Richard Futrell, the Internet of Things is coming to our homes, and many people are not prepared. And you solve these problems for people. I have quite a few units in my house, and you've helped me troubleshoot some of them. Could you talk of some of the problems they might find and some directions of solutions?
Yeah. A lot of the issues is a lot of people working from home using adequate wireless solutions, and wireless has jumped, a lot of terminologies, and technologies between 2G, 5G, all the way up to mesh network. And the mesh seems to be the better of the three because of the new technology that they're putting in to cover the whole house versus a central point radiating out to the house.
And one of the things you said also is if you've got a wireless network that came in, like my Google Fiber, the importance of turning that off if you're going to set up the other as well. So you're kind of controlling what you have in the house.
Correct, because you can use a lot of the channels on the wireless, which you're limited to, and the best channel may be used by, your ISP's wireless versus what you want.
The other thing I want to have you talk about is setting priority, because people have home-based business and they have the Internet of Things, and they may not even know that's something they can do.
Yep, in your wireless device, most of the newer ones, you can set the priority list to give, say, your work machine more priority than your Xbox or your PlayStation or your TV device, so you can get the adequate bandwidth for your office.
So if the kids are watching Netflix in the other, and you're trying to keep the salary so that they can keep paying for Netflix, you can set that the priority. That's something you do, is you set those up with a lot of the modern ones, let you set priorities on it.
That is correct.
Any other advice for the Internet of Things? Because we now have cameras, we have the Google system, we have the Amazon system. Other pieces that you'd recommend people think about when they're getting them?
Well, when you're looking at getting more and more devices for Wi-Fi that are not direct connected into your network, you need to make sure that you have the adequate bandwidth for one, the adequate wireless solution for the next. Um, you need to make sure that you look at the whole scenario versus looking at bits and pieces.
And one of the things often you brought up is people get these real cheap wireless systems that haven't been tested out, and they have problems connecting, because things like some of the Philips stuff or some of the more significant brands, they're already on version 3. They've worked through the claims, and then you get I can get the switch for $19. Now that's fine for someone who's just kind of a tinkerer, and they'll go, well, they work fine for me. But there are other problems with that because it's not as well tested. So talk about the importance of getting them to work together.
Well, the importance is making sure that you get something that is tried and true, and sticking with a name brand like Linksys, Cisco, Belkin has become one of the most popular ones. UB, I mean, there's a lot of vendors out there that create a good wireless solution. But when you start looking on Amazon and you're looking at these ones that don't even have a name, steer away.
Right, right. And unless you want to pay someone like you a lot of hours to fight with it to get it
Exactly.
working.
Spend a little extra money and make sure you get something good versus spending a lot of less money and paying somebody like me that goes in and figures out why it's not working.
And you're able to do some of this remotely with people. Talk about that, because some people, they're more reluctant, people coming in their homes, and you've done a lot. You solved a lot of my network service. I have Google Fiber, and you solved a lot of that remotely without even having to show up.
Yeah, I have a remote solution that once contract with me, I can get you to download a client, and basically that client gives me only the access while you're sitting there with me. So it's not like I can jump into your machine, but it basically gives me full control of the machine until I exit. Once I exit, the application actually removes itself, and it's like I've never been there, and I don't have any further access at that time.
Which both customer and your liability risk,
You
because
got
you
it.
can say with full honesty, I don't have access to it.
I have no access.
Excellent. So the takeaway from this is the mesh really is a future to look at. Go for some of the brands. Are there any brands on the mesh that you kind of say they're doing pretty good right now?
Well, there's a bunch of them to name, but the Cisco Meraki is one of them. That's the most expensive one on there. And there's, I think it's called Ube, UBE,
Right. You,
and that's a good one.
yeah.
There's just so many to name, but that's the two that I would start with and then work my way down.
Excellent. How can they reach you? And you're available for remote for consulting on this too. If they want to, before they get it all in, hire you for an hour to make sure you get the right system set up to either do it for them or give them counsel so they can do it on their own.
Yep. And you can reach me at 919-578-5420 or go to futrellconsulting.net and have an appointment scheduler on there. And I'd love, to be able to assist everybody with this this up and coming dilemma, because it's becoming more and more prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I enjoy it, but it certainly has its own quirks. Thanks so much.
Thank you.